For many years, I thought that meditation and yoga is the perfect combination to develop myself emotionally, physically, spiritually. And I thought this is the best combination in order to become more present and be in the moment. But I was wrong. There's actually a super powerful tool that I was sleeping on, and many people today are sleeping on. And it is so crucial for personal development and personal growth. And I want to show you this tool that you can use in order to become more whole, more emotional intelligent, more resilient, just more present, really. I'm going to show you a framework that changed my life completely, and it helped me to heal and to grow personally. And it will also help you, I'm pretty sure about that, to be more in tune with yourself and to be in tune with other people. And it is the most powerful form of inner work that I know. And if you are doing this properly, I promise you, it will change you. Okay, let's go into it. But first, let's make some cacao. Have you ever tried raw cacao? I always thought back then, okay, if cacao is just raw and without any sugar, why should I like it? And I just recently discovered it. I bought it here in Bali. It has a little bit of caffeine, but I'm actually not drinking coffee at the moment, so this is a perfect thing to drink as a replacement. And there's a lot of other stuff, antioxidants, magnesium, and it's amazing. It's healthy, it tastes good, and I also put in some nice little spices like cardamom, cinnamon. Sometimes you just gotta treat yourself. Just have some nice drink, nice food. And that is also part of the personal development and emotional development, in my opinion. But let's not forget why we're here for, and that is inner work. So you might wonder, why should you actually do this kind of inner work? And the reason is, there's a war within ourselves, and there are many parts within us that act from our subconscious. They have their own agendas, they have their own motivation, and sometimes they conflict with each other. And there's many different parts. Some of these parts one part wants to chill, one part wants to work hard, and the other one wants to lash out at the waitress because she delivered the wrong dessert. And we want to look at this part that wants to lash out at other people and that is angry at other people, and that lets us do things that we actually don't really want to do. We are so scattered inside. Our body, mind, soul, everything is just disconnected, and this leads to mental and physical diseases. It leads to us not being the person that we want to be. And in order to heal, and this is healing what we're doing, we need to unify these parts and take care of them. For example, there's maybe a part of you from childhood that is still wounded, perhaps a memory from childhood that is still affecting you. And maybe you were bullied or rejected, and you still carry this anger or the pain from this incident. And these parts, they need healing. You need to look at them, you need to identify them, get familiar with them, and finally integrate them, make them part of yourself again. Because if you don't recognize and love these disowned parts of yourself, repressed emotions, repressed or disowned qualities and traits of yours, if you don't take them back and you love them, then they will come back at other moments in your life that you cannot control. They will act out. They will make you act out, and it will cause many problems in your life. And these are feelings, thoughts, behaviors that you are uncomfortable with. Fear, anger, jealousy, sadness, whininess, people that show off. And these suppressed energies, or however you want to call them, are our shadows. They are left in the dark of our existence. But with inner work, we can come to terms with these parts, emotions within us that we have abandoned. In this video, we will be doing a very specific way of inner work, and that is shadow work. And again, this is one of the most powerful things that you can do. You can do it in many different ways. I will show you one very simple and effective way of doing it today. It will help you to be in control of your emotions. It will help you grow in your relationships, grow as a person. It will help you to feel more as a whole. So again, this is so powerful. So stick with me in this video because this will potentially change your life. And it's all about getting in touch with your subconscious that is running this show most of the time. Okay, what happens when we are actually doing this shadow work? First, it will help us understand why we react or feel certain ways in specific situations. And then when you tune into your repressed emotions or unresolved trauma, you increase your emotional well-being. And the moment you integrate your shadow, you will stop projecting it onto others, which will help you to have healthier relationships and deeper connections. And finally, if you integrate all parts of yourself, including the ugly ones, you will feel more whole and you will become more resilient in life. So you see, it's pretty powerful doing that stuff. It's you're in for a treat. And what I'm telling you is actually not hard to do, because the main idea is that you identify these own parts of yourself and you start getting in touch with them one way or another. So you identify them, you get familiar with them, you accept them, and integrate them into your life. Sounds very simple, right? You probably heard of the concept of the inner child. In my opinion, this is a very specific way of doing shadow work. I think there's some overlap with shadow work. But I will go more deeper into inner child work in another video. Today, I want to focus on shadow work, how I understand it, and how it helped me to integrate my shadows and to become more present. And if you're familiar with Jung's psychology, the shadow is one of the archetypes in our psyche. So the first step is that we are identifying the shadow. And if you think this is hard to do, fear not. It is actually pretty simple. It's ridiculously simple because we are encountering our shadow almost every day, all the time throughout our day-to-day life. Okay, how to do shadow work? Step number 1. Identify the shadow. Do you remember a situation where you got triggered by someone? Just take a moment to think about a situation that happened to you recently. You got one? The uncomfortable truth is actually that the shadow reveals itself when we are triggered by others' behavior. It's so funny how we sometimes project our suppressed emotions onto the outside world. It's just a reflex, and we keep on disowning these parts from ourselves, and we're of course not doing this consciously, but we're disowning this part of ourselves, and then we are separating it from us so much that we cannot even see it within us anymore. We just see it outside. We see it happening in other situations, in people's behavior. And we are not aware that this is actually something that stirs stuff up within us for a reason, because it is in us. And that is the tricky part. We disown this quality so well that we cannot even recognize it as part of ourselves anymore. For example, people that victimize themselves. If this frustrates you, then it might reveal a hidden fear of being powerless or a tendency to reject your own feelings of vulnerability or attention seeking. If people that are constantly looking for attention, if they annoy you, if you feel intense anger or frustration towards them, then it might point out to your discomfort with your own desire for validation or attention. This is a hard pill to swallow, I know. I can guarantee you that triggers out there will have to do something with you. What exactly it is, that's something you will have to find out, but I will tell you a very easy way to get to the bottom of this. Because when you react intensely to people's behavior like this, if you get really angry, really frustrated, if it really triggers you, and you cannot even really pinpoint what it is, then this is a very good sign for you to look not there, but here. Look inside of yourself and take a closer look, because their behavior might mirror something within you, even if you don't consciously recognize it. Okay, back to the situation that triggered you. Keep it in mind once more. Remember a situation that frustrated you about someone else's behavior. And now in step number 2, I want you to write it down. Write down the whole situation that triggered you. And I know it might seem wrong to you that a trigger is supposed to reveal a shadow of yours. But stay with me. For now, you only have to know what triggers you and why. And now sit down and write down how a person triggered you, why it triggered you, and describe the whole situation. Here's an example from me. I can't stand my coworker lately. She's so controlling about every little detail in meetings, constantly micromanaging and acting like everything has to be perfect. She just sucks all the joy out of the work. It's like she can't relax or trust anyone to do their job. She's exhausting to be around, and honestly, it drives me crazy how uptight she is. Okay, in step number 3, we are going to do something very weird. If you have never done this, this will be very weird. This will feel very strange to you, but please stay with me. It will be worth it. You are gonna start a conversation with this person that just triggered you in the situation that you have been describing. So you will write a dialogue like you see in books, and you will imagine what you are saying. You will write it down, what you are saying to the person, and the person will answer. Of course, you will write the dialogue. And keep in mind, you're not talking to the person that triggered you actually in your memories in the outside world. You are talking to something that is within you. You will talk to a representation of your inner world. And that is why this technique is so powerful, and that is also why you will be able to do this very well. And that is why it will help you so much. Okay, let's continue with our example of the coworker, so you know exactly what you do when you do it yourself. Me. Why do you have to control every little thing? Coworker. I'm not controlling. I just want things done the right way. Me. Why can't you trust people to handle their tasks? Coworker. Because if something goes wrong, it's on me, and I don't want that pressure. Me. Why does everything have to be perfect? Coworker. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if I don't take charge, no one else will, and I don't want to fail. See, it is not that hard to do. You are just trying to have a conversation in your mind about the situation with this character. This is already a step towards understanding what's going on and why this is happening. And I know this might feel strange because you have to kind of talk to yourself, but that's why we are using the coworker or the other person as a medium to talk. It makes it actually easier to talk to a part within us. Okay, are you ready for step number 4? Now it's time to embrace our shadow. So what we did before was to talk to our shadow from the third and the second perspective. First, we talked about it. Then we talked to it. And now we finally become the shadow. Now it is time to really step into the shoes of the other person. You're gonna summarize the dialogue, the way they feel, the way they behave, in a statement, and you make it an I statement. You are saying this as if this is true for you. Are you with me? I'm giving you an example so you can understand. I feel the weight of responsibility, and if I don't take charge, things might fall apart. I care deeply about doing things right, and I don't trust others to handle it because I've been let down before. I'm not trying to control, I'm just afraid of failing and carrying the blame. I get it. If you thought step number 3 was already a bit strange, then this must be even more strange. But trust the process. Write it. Say it, become it. Just imagine for a moment that this thing that triggered you out there is something within you. Just try it. Just see whatever comes up. Just see how it feels. Take the text that you wrote and then read it out loud. Just make it really a statement from yourself. Try to feel. Try to be the shadow as good as you can and observe. observe how you feel about it. Because this will ultimately help you to re-own the shadow. This will help you to understand where these strong emotions are coming from. And you will notice it is oftentimes not them, it's us. This is not about fault, by the way, but it's about recognizing what is going on in here. And there's a lot of stuff to unpack, and I get it. We don't want to look at all of these things. That's why this work is so powerful. And it might feel strange sometimes. It might even feel strange to even accept that you have a shadow, which is maybe a bit woo-woo for some people, but it works. It works to imagine this as a shadow or another energy dynamic or an inner demon or inner child, whatever you want to call it. The person in our example disowned his own need for structure, control, and precision because he values creativity, freedom, and spontaneity. But these other qualities like perfectionism, structure, they coexist within us. And if we deny them, that leads to imbalance. And not just that, we are starting to project these disowned parts onto other people, like with a coworker. And we get annoyed about their behavior. But this behavior is also a mirror. It shows him the part of himself that wants things to be structured, organized, and well managed. Qualities he pushed aside to avoid feeling constrained. This is not an autobiographical example, but I feel it's a little bit the case for me personally. I saw myself as very creative and freedom loving, and it took me quite a long time to realize that I need structure. I need habits that they actually save me. And if I just keep on ignoring that, I have no great life. I needed to realize that other people who are in control and hardworking and structured, that they actually have qualities that I need for myself. And that I didn't like them. I didn't like the people who are hardworking, the people who always do their homework because I was too cool to do my homework. I just wanted to be clever and not working hard for good results. And I come to realize that this is actually important for me. I like to have good results and I like to be hardworking. I like to have some sort of structure. I'm still creative and freedom loving. It's not about becoming a completely different person. It's just about saying, hey, well, there is something inside of me that I can have within me as well. I can coexist. I can have these energy coexist within me and embrace them. I can say, I love freedom. I like creativity, but I will need some structure to become even more creative. The more limits I set to myself, the more habits I have, the more freedom of mind do I have to be creative, to truly create meaningful stuff. And for you, this can be the same thing. You might do this whole work and you will notice the stuff that triggers you is actually something within you, but you can see that there are traits and qualities that you have rejected that could actually be of use to you. Like for me, it was the structure or building habits or working harder. You will discover stuff that maybe assertiveness or being angry, showing some emotions might help you in some situations if you are intentionally using them, if you are consciously embracing your shadow, this energy, this darkness, and let it out in a conscious manner, of course. I'm not saying you should be a dick. I'm just saying there is some stuff within you that needs to be let out in some way or another. And I personally don't know a better way to become emotional, intelligent, and resilient. And if you do meditation and yoga, then this is the perfect additional practice for an integral life practice where you cover a lot of things in your life with just a few practices. This whole process will allow you to feel more complete. And I know it's tricky because, well, you have all these ideas about yourself in your mind. You have your fixed personality, you have your story, and some of these traits and memories and emotions, they just don't fit into your story. But I get it, but it's still there. It still wants out. So in one way or another, you have to look at it in order to feel at ease with yourself. And you can probably meditate and do yoga as much as you like. And you will, most of the people will not reach this point of wholeness, of feeling complete if they don't actively choose to embrace their shadows. If you do this work, you will increase your capacity to hold several perspectives within you and different qualities within you. So you see, this will help you not just to not get triggered anymore. You will be more empathetic. You will be more understanding. You will be more present. You will be all these things that you want to be. And you can finally be your true self. Be in the present, be creative, be amazing, be a good friend, be a good lover, and all that just by doing shadow work. Isn't that crazy? So get out there, do the work, and leave a like if you like this, and maybe send this to a friend who also needs to do some shadow work. Have a good one. Until next time.